Let's see. Am I up? Am I up? Am I frozen? I'm frozen. Am I frozen? Hope not. Jeez. All right. Oh, it says I'm here on live. Okay. Yay. How about that? Uh, Welcome to a special edition of Eight Questions with. I'm your host, Patrick, from Have Cheetah Will View. I'm not sure if the Cheetah will make an appearance tonight. He might, but it is cold, so he might not. So we are generally here on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but today we're here for a special interview with actress and writer Eleanor Lambert. Hi, Jennifer. Okay, yeah, I look like a well. I probably hope I don't come across as frozen either. So we have a very special guest. I guess they would say this is a Hollywood royalty, so to speak. I guess that's how they talk about the children of famous parents. That's how they do it. I don't. I look at the person as just who they are, what they've done, and I could tell you that Eleanor Lambert is her own, very much her very own person. She's an extraordinary writer. She's done some modeling, um, but I really liked her writing. And she's also a cat person, which is really good. She likes Hello Kitty, so that already we already know that she's awesome. Oh, what's going on, Rick? Uh, yeah. Hopefully the plumbing. Well, the plumbing's all right now. I'm gonna get it all the way fixed next Monday. Um, yeah, it just popped out and it leaked into my basement. I had a flood in my basement from a hole, but we managed to get that fixed. So, oops. So yeah, that was disappointing. But we do have Laura Dove coming back on tomorrow. I will be back Saturday for a special show with Laura Dove as well. Um, so Eleanor has decided to follow her mom and her dad's footsteps and coming out, become a working actor. And her her debut film with her starring in it is Time Now, which me and the Cheetah did watch. It's very gritty. It's set in Detroit, and they filmed it in Detroit because I recognize a lot of places that I've been to before. That was always fun. Um, Detroit looked Detroit in that movie. That's one thing. You don't have to worry about that. You want a gritty background. Yeah, I can't think of too many places of more gritty than Detroit. It's a mystery film. It's a little bit of a mystery film, drama. It's a good movie. Eleanor did really well in her debut. I thought she was solid. Um, the cast included Claudia Black from Farscape, so she has some really good talent to work off against. So that was really good. That made the movie that much more stronger. And some fresh faces I've never seen before that were pretty good as well. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because I know that I was reading when she was doing some of her writing, and one of the things she mentioned was she told her mom, who is Diane Lane, she apologized to her mom. I guess her mom had asked her not to dabble her feet into acting, but I guess she got the fever. It's in her blood, and she decided to do that. Well, her mom has nothing to worry about because Eleanor is a natural. She's really strong. She's a strong actress. She's going to have a very fine career based on what I've seen off the first movie. Um, and I really liked how she did it. I'll be honest with you. I I think that I think that the fact she did an indie movie, just a small budget indie movie, instead of helping out, trading on her name or her mom's reputation or whatnot to get a more glamorous part. Ellen, like I said, she's her own person, and the fact that she went ahead and did this first debut low budget film, and which is basically the focus is totally on her, and she basically has to carry the film. I thought that was really brave. And I do. I think it's really brave. A lot of people would not have done that. They would have just asked to get on a cushy role, like in a big Ryan Reynolds or The Rock type of movie, and just slide in there and just get carried along with the whole cast. But to go out there on your own and say, "Yeah, I can do this movie," and it's not a glamorous movie. I tell you that right now, it's not glamorous. But to go ahead and do that and to own it, hats off to her. But that's who the person she is. Um, I spent some time on her website and I was doing some of her reading. She's written for several magazines. Um, she's very talented for that. I could actually see her, and it's one of the questions we'll ask her, is she's thought about doing some screenwriting because she's a very talented writer. Um, oh, yeah, go get some sleep, Ricky. By all means, yeah, yeah. Hey, Stephen, how are you, sir? Um, so our guest will be here in about 10 minutes or so. Um, so during that time, I'll bring up the old calendar here. Okay, let's see what we got. I know we got some stuff. We always got stuff. All right. Wow, this is the end of our, well, no, actually tomorrow will be our end of our first week in January or November. I'm really sort of scattered here. So next week on the 9th of November, we have Polly Shannon will be here. Actress Polly Shannon will be here. Um, that'll be a fun show. Polly has done she's a very well established actress. She's done tons of things. So we'll be talking to Polly about her career, what it was like working with Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds, among many others. On the 10th, we will be talking to Irish actress Fran Winston at 2 p.m. I'm going across the pond again at 2 p.m. Of course, tomorrow, Saturday the 6th, it'll be Laura Dove. I'll be pushing that out as soon as it's probably early tomorrow morning or late tonight, so you get your notifications to show up and say hi. All right. On 8 p.m. on the 10th, we have our good friend Cedric Gagel will be here. He's an actor and a writer and director. He'll be here. Hopefully doing much better. He had a car accident a couple of weeks ago and he got banged up a bit. So hopefully he's feeling much better, and we'll ask him about that among many other things. Next, on the 11th of November, we have Candice Carella. She directed the acclaimed short film Unicorns, who we've already interviewed the writer of that piece, uh, Leah, and Leah McKendrick. We interviewed her, and then we also interviewed the star of that film, Hillary Kerwin. So we will be talking to Candice, and she also is a wardrobe expert. She has done many movies and TV shows with wardrobe. So that'll be on the 11th. That'll also be at 8 p.m. On the 16th, we welcomed a PR person, our public relations expert, personal assistant, Ruth Hill will be here at 8 p.m. She is a personal assistant to actor Paul Green, who is a mainstay on the Hallmark channel. He does, I don't know, like 3 or 4 of their movies a year, I think, if not more. Now there's a new channel called Great American Classics, GAC, who's actually has copied their model from Hallmark because they got the formerly Hallmark president. And what that means is that it could be more and more family films coming that way. And you know what? More power to them. We need more. We need more wholesome entertainment on TV. So she'll be here on the 16th. On the 17th, we will be interviewing Mike Markoff will be here. And it'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Mikey's a great guy. Looking forward to him. On the 18th, Cami Storm will be here along 8 p.m. An actress model. A lot of fun. A really nice person. Really, really sweet. And very intense, too. surprisingly so. She got some skills. Um, on the 19th, we have Chloe Triascos. She is starred in she starred in her wrote and starred in this movie called Introducing Jodea, which is a modern take of My Fair Lady, and she'll be here on the 19th at 8 p.m. And then the 23rd, we have Rogue Origin coming in. Rogue Origin. And that is going to be awesome as well. Group of guys that put together really, really cool short films, action-packed short films, not necessarily dialogue-driven, but there is some. They did a piece called Odd Job, who we interviewed Josh Hahn, who and they're the ones that created it. Hey, Michael, you know what? I needed to do this. I wanted to do this last week or last show, but I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Yeah. There you go, Michael. And on the 24th, we have a co-host. We have our friend Kevin Kay, who is will be leading a charge over here tonight. Thank you, Kevin. He's going to be leading the charge over here. We're going to be rated about in our interview by Tuber Chat. So that'll be fun. But he's going to be co-hosting the show with me on the 24th. We have Brian John from he's a paranormal expert, and he is going to be talking to us about the paranormal. So he runs an organization called Huntophobia, and me and Kevin will be talking to him about that. On the 25th of November, on Thanksgiving, yes, but she's Canadian. That's why I booked her. No, it's not, but it helps. My good friend Jennifer Sullivan will be here. She is a writer and an editor, and she will be here to talk about her career and yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. I've known Jennifer for years. Tremendous supporter of me and my work, and so I'm looking forward to talking to her about her process. And the last show of the month, November, um, here on Eight Questions with is our good friend Marshall. Marshall from Mellow Nomadic Adventures will be here on the 30th at 8 p.m. And he works in the movie industry, and he also travels in his van. He's also van life. He literally travels from set to set to set via his rig, his vehicle. So he's a van lifer, and he's also a working crew member on many films. I met Marshall in the van life community, and then him and I had some mutual friends that we both know and have become really good friends. And I really enjoy his content. One of the nicest guys I've met on the tube so far. So that's the calendar. Okay. Of course, now you get all anxious, right? Because you keep looking at the clock. You keep looking at the clock. Um, this is what we call day of show jitters right here. The day of show jitters is the half hour between opening the doors and getting ready and opening the doors. You're just tremendously excited, and bam, right on time. Wow. Ta-da!
Hello.
Hello, Eleanor.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Good, I love your name. Cheetahs are my favorite animal, so.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the reason why you agreed to talk to me?
That's the only reason I agreed.
There can only be one.
That's right.
Cheetah.
It was the cheetah.
I had to slide in a little bit of there. You knew it had to come in somewhere down the line.
Had to.
Yes. Welcome. I can't believe you agreed to do this interview on a Friday night.
It's my pleasure. It's no problem.
Because it's Friday night. You're in New York, right?
I am. I'm in New York City.
So who stays home in New York City at 8 o'clock on a Friday? Wow.
I know.
We got to give it up for you right there. When Jeff mentioned this, I said, you meant to say Thursday, right? And he goes, no, it's no Friday. I'm like,
Is that
no,
okay with you? Or
yeah. I was like,
okay.
stunned. I was like, wow, who gives up a Friday night to talk to to us? So tickled. I'm totally tickled.
My
Um,
pleasure.
now here's something for you.
Okay.
I actually am 30 miles from what we call Murder City. I'm 30 miles from Detroit.
Right.
So, and that is where your
That is
movie.
where it was shot.
That's a gritty movie.
It was a gritty movie, and I think Detroit was just the most, sort of. It was its own character in the movie, which was really cool. I thought, like, if you can film it in the city that you've intended it to be shot in, that's the dream. And Spencer had lived in Detroit for 5 years and loved the city, and it was so obvious how much he loved the city. And we got to shoot in some really cool places. And yeah.
Yeah, I recognize some of them. I know you guys went to Belle Island.
Yes, we went to Belle Island. We went to the John K. King bookstore, which was amazing. That was probably my favorite location we shot in.
By Woodward Avenue. Went by there because I saw the light rail car.
Yeah. Oh, right. Oh my God, there were so many cool things in Detroit that I, wish I could have seen. We shot the movie in 15 days. So, but I was so grateful because we got to shoot in so many cool locations. So I got to see a lot of Detroit just doing the movie, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah, Detroit is just, it's rough. I mean, I've been here since 1999, and I could tell you, it's a rough city.
Right.
It's a special kind of crazy to live in that city. It really is. It's my wife's uncle played for the Tigers,
Oh, cool.
so his statue is at Tiger Stadium.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
So let's talk a little bit about you, because this is about you. The first thing I noticed right off the bat, and I really, really respect you for this, is you're your own person.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, yeah. I was telling the chat before you came on that it could have been really easy for you to trade in on your mom and dad, just name and reputations, and got onto a big budget project, and just like be part of that. But I really admire and respect the fact that you did time now. You did a really gritty movie, independent movie for your first feature role. I thought that actually took a lot of guts.
Wow. Well, thank you for saying that. I was sort of surprised and pleasantly shocked that Spencer, wanted me. I was so green, and I had just decided, I suppose, yes, that I wanted to be an actor, and I was about 6 months into my first year training, which is untraining in almost all ways. So I felt, I was really pleasantly surprised when he asked me to do it, and that he believed in me before I believed in myself, kind of vibe. It was a really cool phone call to get.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, and yeah, hats off to Spencer for doing it. I mean,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he had
I,
such vision the whole time. It was like, that's the dream.
I mean, did he think that did you ever ask him, did he think that he would be able to get you?
Get me? Oh my gosh, no, of course not. No, I mean, we were both young, just sort of beginning on our career paths. I mean, my God, he was 22 when he directed that, and I was 24, I think, when we shot it. Maybe I was 25. I think I was 25.
Oh, so the movie. Oh, okay. It's been sitting there for a minute then.
It's been sitting there. We shot it. So we shot it in April of 2019, and yeah, now it's finally,
Yeah, you know how that goes.
The world seeing it, and it's kind of one of those things where you look back, and it's been I don't want to say such a long time, but it's been a long enough time that I feel like I've grown as a person, as an actor, and so it's kind of fun to look back on it and go, wow, that's who I was then.
Yeah. Yeah, no, one of the things I did, while I was, like when I got offered, the chance to interview is like I'd say, okay, I got to go see this. I want to meet her. I want to know who she is. So I spent a few hours on your website. I was reading some of your
My
recent titles.
website, oh God, that poor thing needs some attention, but what can you
Um,
do?
yeah, the first thing I came across was like, you're a very impressive writer.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you for saying that. Because thing about being a freelance writer is you submit one thing and something else gets published. So I'm glad that it resonated with you. Some of the stuff you read anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I was like, okay, she's skilled. She has skills. It's the first thing you think of. And I have to emphasize again what I really enjoyed about it was that you're a trailblazer. You didn't rest on your laurels. And I think far too many Hollywood kids do that. They rest on mom and dad's name. They don't push themselves very hard. And the fact I really did enjoy seeing that you're not that person. You have always been independent based
Thank
on what I saw.
Thank you. Yes, I suppose so. I mean, it's also a testament to being in the position that I grew up in and that I'm currently in, the privilege of being able to dip my toe into various sort of, I don't know if I would say professions, but fields. They are professions. I just don't know that I necessarily occupied them in that sense. But yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. Yeah, it's hard to advocate for yourself, but I think it's something that we're all on our own journeys of figuring out how to do, and that changes with time as we change, obviously. But thanks, I appreciate that.
So let's talk a little bit about your childhood though, because your childhood was different than pretty much 99.9% of the people that we know. Um, what
Sure.
was it like? What was it like growing up in your house? I mean, did
Um,
you?
I mean, all things considered, obviously, yes, it was a unique childhood for sure.
Sure.
However, my mom was very cognizant of the world that she is a part of, and was very conscientious about, just sort of ensuring that I was in a position of having choice in terms of how to engage with that. And so there was my mom's not a particularly celebrity type. I mean, of course that she is. That's not to deny the sort of clout around her. She's a fantastic actor, but I think that's mostly how she identifies. She identifies with the art form and the craft of it. And so, she's not someone who was so in the spotlight that it was unavoidable, there was a conscious effort to kind of keep
Yeah,
me
she
having as
wasn't.
much of a normal childhood as was possible.
Yeah, when she was younger, when you were younger and you're in the spotlight. I mean, she was in the spotlight, but it seemed like the last 20 years or so, it's like whenever she does a movie, she'll come out there, she'll do the publicity, and then she just goes home
Yeah.
because you never see anything written about her or pictures or anything else. She just comes out, does what she needs to do, and go
Yeah.
home.
And then
Um,
lives her life. Yeah.
yeah, that's good though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. She
Uh,
knows what works for her. I admire that in her so much. And it's something I hope to myself embody, knowing what works for you and doing it. Take what you like, leave the rest.
uh, I like that the fact that you're really close to them.
Yes.
You're
Oh,
very close to your parents.
so lucky. I'm so lucky to have such amazing, loving parents, and that was definitely something, Jenny and I are so different. So to play Jenny was a real exercise. And that's something that's, come up in these interviews, is sort of reflecting on how blessed I am, to have a close relationship with my parents, and to have loving, supportive, present parents.
Yeah, because Jenny did not have that.
No, Jenny had a hard one.
Yeah, Jenny and her mom. Every time they walked inside the same room together, except for picking a wardrobe out, uh, was really high tension. It
Yeah.
was like and you could definitely sense the animosity and the pain and the regret between the two of them.
Yeah.
We're talking about the movie Time Now
Yes.
and
Sorry.
Eleanor's character. Yeah, I mean, You mean you had to do some acting in those roles because that's something you weren't really used to. You didn't really experience that, so you had to dig deep to get there, huh?
I would say so. I was very lucky because when Spencer asked me to do this, there was still quite a lot of time. I don't know about a lot, but a good amount of time to go through the script and get very clear on the relationships and the specifics of the scene and whatever the scene may have been. And so I got to sort of start that process early on with the director, which is just the dream, to be able to actually call the director and be like, what do you think about this? Am I on the right, track with my crafting does this make sense to you? And Claudia Black, who plays my Aunt Joan, who is my favorite person ever. She was on a lot of those calls. And so to have somebody who's so gifted and talented and skilled in the craft, it was, So,
Yeah,
I had a lot of support, a lot.
Yeah, that was a smart play. I mean, Spencer, I'll give him credit for that. The cast mostly. I didn't know anybody in the cast other than you and Claudia. I watched Claudia on Farscape for years.
She's the coolest.
Yeah.
She's actually the coolest person.
She's badass.
Yeah.
I thought that was really smart for a 22-year-old director to come up there and make sure he casted at least an anchor.
Yes. Oh my God, I know. We were all so blessed to have her there. No doubt.
And not only did it help you with your script and your character development, but it also taught a lot of those probably a lot of your actors that was with you how to be on a set, how to act on a set, because that's something that probably a lot of people don't really realize is how important it is, especially an independent film. You're in there, you got a couple of credits, maybe 4 or 5 credits. You're, like you said, you're still learning, and so you got on there. You probably knew it already, but a lot of those young cast members, was that their first or first movies as well, their debuts?
I mean, I think it varies between them, and I don't want to say something and have it be untrue. So I don't know exactly what they had done before. Paige, who plays Tanya, and we had a summer acting program together, and her and I were friends prior to this, which is fun, which is so fun to have friends there. And then Xavier, who plays Cash, I met very briefly in New York prior to shooting. And then Sebastian works all the time, who plays my brother. So those are the folks I got to meet. I don't think I actually met Sebastian before, but we're like basically neighbors, which is fun.
Yeah, Xavier really surprised me. Your guys' scenes together, I really liked his character.
Yeah, he killed it. He was so good.
He really had the best of intentions. He was just put in a really bad circumstance in the movie. He wasn't a bad person.
No. And
the funny when your climatic scene comes with him, it's just overwhelming sadness.
I know. It's this tragic moment between two people just caught. Something I thought that the film captured so well is just the consequences, of unaddressed pain and trauma, and having that many characters. Like, yes, Jenny leads us through the film. She's our, protagonist, so to speak, but through her, we meet so many other people and we get a snapshot into so many other people's psyches in response to this one event. And so that final moment between Cash and Jenny is just so you've gotten to know everyone and you sort of have this buildup of it's almost like it's not just them two there anymore. It encapsulates so much of what it encapsulates the moments that came before and led up to it. So yeah, that gosh, those scenes.
It's a powerful ending, and your final scene is just like, wow, you're just sitting there, you just like, you want to sit there and hug Jenny at the same time. You're just like, and then I really like the ending, how Spencer put the sirens at the end.
I know. I'm so glad that he did, and he made that choice, because I think that was
So, how old were you when you decided that you really wanted to do this? I mean, you mentioned before, like, I noticed on your website, you apologized to your mom for doing it. Sorry, mom. Sorry, mom.
Oh, well, got to keep it light. I decided, I guess, yeah, okay. So when I met my boyfriend, I was 24. He's an actor as well. I grew up with acting being whatever my parents do when they leave for 3 months, or when my dad would come to town and we would hang out. What we would do without fail is just kind of go see the most entertainment filled film that was out, like Spider-Man or any Transformers or anything with Jason Statham. I love Jason Statham.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh, he's
okay. But I got one. If I can interrupt just 1 second,
Yeah.
I just want to ask one question. So, what did you think of the Infinity War Endgame?
I didn't watch Endgame. I watched. I haven't caught up with all the Marvels. There's so many.
You haven't caught up?
No,
I mean,
no.
You're personal friends with Thanos.
That's right. I am. I know. I'm really bad like that.
How cool is that? How cool, the destroyer of the universe, and you also know the Highlander. I mean, come on. But Jason Statham is rocking too.
Love Jason Statham. I really do. So anyway, we would go and see the silliest, the most like what movies. So I just had a different sort of relationship to the art form of acting and the art, the final product of film being art. And that's not to say I didn't see, classic, fantastic films. I definitely did. I sort of, just because of how I grew up, thought they were kind of the exception rather than the rule. And it wasn't until I met my boyfriend, he would get sent his materials for work, sides or scripts, and he would disappear into this fun little world, and I could see the gears turning in his head, and I was like, what's going on? And so he was sort of the one to introduce me to acting, the craft, and the honoring of humanity and humanness that acting can be, and the empathetic kind of adventure that it is. And so I decided to pursue it after I, gained a new perspective on it. And that was when I was 24, and I decided to get trained, professionally trained actor. And I did that from 2018 to 2020. And then March of 2020 happened, which we were all in the middle of something. And I was in the middle of acting class. And so I literally just finished last Tuesday was my last acting class. Thank you.
No, I know you'll be taking classes throughout. I mean, every working actor I've talked to says they still do classes.
Got to keep the instrument fresh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but your first love though is writing. So where did you develop that at, Eleanor? I mean, how old were you when you discovered you have a gift with words?
I was pretty young. I really loved to just write silly stories. I used to draw them and handwrite them. And then my mom got a computer in the house. So I was learning how to type. And so I don't know. I think my first story, my first handwritten story I was with my grandma. It was about a spider. I'm terrified of spiders. It was called Spooky's Wild Ride, I think it was. It was about a spider that I saw at my grandma's house. Spooky something. I don't think it was Wild Ride. But anyway, so I started that pretty young. And then I ended up studying journalism, similar to journalism. It's not like a full journalism degree just because of the program that I went to at school. But yeah, so I was music writing for a little while. I was freelance writing about, art and technology. And then, it sort of came to a point where I think the stuff that I wanted to write about, I didn't need to be a loud voice in that space. I sort of felt like it was best for me to listen and learn than to try and make my way to the head of the pack. And so freelance writing I haven't done in a long time. Every once in a while I'll write some pitches and get lost in some inboxes, some editors' inboxes, but I love to write. I mean, at this point, my writing is mainly in my journal, and I'm actually working on a book with a friend of mine.
Yeah, because one thing I hope you don't mind me asking, but one because you mentioned it and it caught my eye. You mentioned your recovery, and I was
Oh,
just
sure.
yeah. I mean, was it was a recovery? Was that from your teenage years, or was that
Well, I
something?
mean, I'd like to keep my anonymity in terms of that. I appreciate you asking. I'm not dealing with anything terrible or anything like that, and but
Did it help? Did it help writing it out? I'm sure you did because you mentioned it.
I do a lot of writing on that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Don't
thank
you find that to be so horrific? I mean, doesn't it help just to unleash it? Is that how you relieve your stress to
That's
write?
how I make sense of the world, is with language. I mean, I know language is so limited, and that's definitely something that I have grappled with as a writer, is all these feelings, and especially with like meditations and stuff. You want to sort of put language to things that aren't there aren't necessarily words for, and so the craft of trying to encapsulate something that you kind of have to create the world that it occupies, if that makes sense. I'm sort of speaking in vagaries, but
No.
writing and words and talking things out. I just think language is such an amazing gift to be
I
able to
do. I do hope that you keep writing, though. I
Thank you.
do. Yeah. I mean, and I was going to ask. I'll have to ask this question, though. I think it's a boring question to ask, but I'll ask it anyway. But do you find yourself, maybe try to attempt a screenplay in the future?
Something I've learned about myself in this process is that I am very comfortable occupying the space of being the instrument or vessel through which someone else's ideas come to life. At this moment, I don't have the skill set of having an idea and bringing it to life in that way. So maybe one day, but for now, I think I love to be a tool for the telling of the story. I don't know that I am in a place where I could write a story yet necessarily. I mean, I could do it, but I
Yeah,
doesn't.
I'm hearing you, and I'm going like, yeah, I don't think you have any problem. I mean, if you just sat down there, I mean, someone gave you the basics, like the 10-cent tour on a screenplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would pick it up. You got the skills, Eleanor.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got the writing skills. Like I said, I spend a lot of time on the site. I read everything you wrote.
Wow. My God.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude. That's so nice.
Oh yeah, I noticed one thing in one of your pictures. You have a cat.
Oh my God. I got the best cat in the whole world. I can't believe he's not harassing me right now. He's normally like here,
Oh, okay.
Sorry, sounds of the city. It's very loud.
So let's. How did you like it? How did you? How did you basically formed your gift of writing, through classes and whatnot. So you developed your skills through education. How important is education to you?
Wow. Deeply, deeply important. I have my feelings. So I don't want to get too in education. I think is a human right. What is being taught, the curriculums being taught, I know very deeply between geographic locations and also, access. I was so lucky to be able to be educated the way that I was. I think that education is one of the number one. I would say it's in the top three of where I would want my tax money to go. If I had a say in it, it would be to ensuring that everybody has access to factual and factual education, factual information.
It's scary, isn't it? Our
Yes.
education system today,
Yes.
with being forced, we're being forced to teach. The revisionist history and whatnot. It's downright scary. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Did you go to public school or did you go to public school or did you go to a private school?
Uh, both. I did both.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on where I was and at what time, but yeah.
Okay. Um, so what did you enjoy most about your acting classes? I mean, or like three of the biggest things that you just like glommed onto you? But,
Okay, my actions, knowing what you're doing, because we can pretty clearly get the emotion from something, but you can't always just rely on raw emotion. It's very important to know I am reprimanding somebody, I am belittling somebody, I am encouraging somebody, my interaction is I'm deeply stressed. My teacher would say that's not an action. So they're not that easy, like you think that you know what you're doing all the time, but it's something that's very helpful when, you sort of start to get in your head a little to reground in what am I doing here? Because there's a lot of moving pieces in a script, and a lot that the actor needs to be aware of, that the character maybe doesn't necessarily know what's going on and how to do that as an actor. So that's one. Number two, this is in no particular order. These are just sort of my top three.
sure.
My other one would be is that the attention needs to be not on yourself. Your job is not to be thinking at all, pretty much, which is next to impossible. But I just mean, the attention is not on me and what I'm doing next. The attention is on the activity that you're doing or the other person that you're in the scene with. And that the result of that is sort of, I guess, a third, but not really, is just like genuine presence. You can't, you definitely can do a whole scene, not, in your head and being, trying to get from A to B to C. But if you can do all that before or get your homework done, that's homework, right? You don't do your homework in class, it's before. And the goal is to just be really present with the other person. And I got to experience that on set with Claudia. And it was so amazing. Those car scenes that we shot together, that was like, I think my first experience on set being like, oh,
You got it.
This is what it's all about.
But did you do plays in your classes? I mean, did you do some scenes from plays?
Oh, in my acting class, definitely. We did lots and lots of scenes. Of scenes.
So what you but what's the big difference between like doing a feature film role like Jenny and doing a stage play? I mean, what's your mindset? It's got to be a little bit different.
Definitely. I actually just did my first, actual on stage thing. I was in a short play that was part of the New York Theater Festival that my friend wrote and directed. And he said something so cool. He was like, excuse me, when you're on a film set, it's take, let it go, take, let it go, take, let it go. Okay, we got it. Next scene, take, let it go, take, let it go. And with stage, it's whole scene, the whole thing in one day, and then let it go. And you do it all over again each day. So, where you're doing like this, and you get notes in between. With being on stage, you have to let the whole performance go, which is very, a whole different experience. And when you're on set, you can maybe go, can I just have like one more try, and you definitely don't get that on stage.
No.
So, but I'm so green in all of this. I've been on one film set and like 2 TV sets and 1 stage. So I don't have that much to.
But you know what? This is so much fun though, because see, right now you're at the beginning. You could your journey is just starting, and this is for me, and hopefully from our chat and anybody else who's done this with you. I hope they realize how much fun this is to actually see somebody just starting out.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun because we're a little bit we're like watching you and on Time Now. I was I could relate to what you're feeling. Like this is your first time out. This is your first time doing this. And it's like you're a little bit vicariously through you in a sense that I remember when I was doing certain things for the first time and how scared I was,
Yeah.
and wanted to know if I got it right and whatnot. So to be
I
able to see
know.
someone, to take off, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You're gonna blaze your own trail. That's the thing. You're doing it on your own, and so that's what, to me, that's what part of the fun is. And you're right. I mean, everybody says about the plays. Like, what do you like? You like a safety net with a film, or do you like no net in theater? I mean, what's more exciting?
It's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to
Yeah.
say. I think that
Um,
the adrenaline rush of theater is pretty amazing, but also
mhm.
very scary. And I don't know. There is something. Yeah, I don't know how to answer. I don't think that it was even a question, so I don't even have to answer
Uh,
it.
are you going to try to do some more theater?
I want to work. I am itching to work. So I'm just excited to see what opportunities may be coming my way in the future. Or so I yes, of course. I would love to work. I'm just
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing what avenues I get to occupy
Uh,
doing that.
how did you meet Spencer? I mean, I mean, is this someone that was this someone who you met, through a third party, or is this your manager or set up, or your
No,
agent?
actually, I worked at Spencer's mom's production company like randomly for a year, and I knew that Spencer existed, obviously, but I'd never met him. But when I left the production company, I decided, I said, I'm gonna go attempt acting. So I think it just sort of, Spencer had been working on this for a long time and was like, I'm looking for a young woman actor who could play this. And I think it just sort of, it was like, there's somebody who is available, definitely. And so he called me, and he reminded me of this. I forgot, but there was a bit of convincing to do, I guess. I would think I was just a little like, are you sure? But
Right. Right, because I mean, yeah, I mean, having a feature film debut and you're the main character, that is a lot of pressure.
yeah,
But he had a lot of faith in you.
he had so much faith in me, and throughout the whole thing, he was sort of my cheerleader.
Yeah,
He was really so supportive of me and believed in me, and kept me grounded.
I definitely could feel that it's going to give you a boost in the future. It's gonna pay off for you, because you're gonna bypass a few steps. You're gonna go like, I mean, you're gonna be able to handle a lot more weight, and that's obvious. It's
I was
obvious.
very lucky that was, my first role. Was I got so much time in front of the camera. It wasn't this like massive blockbuster, so there was room to, be a person and kind of be like, I'm nervous, and you don't have to show up like I'm ready. I got to be like, we'll see.
No, that's exactly what I said. I think you could have done that. You could have just sat there and said, I want to be an actress. I want to start working. I got, and then you could have sat there and used your connections to do that, but you didn't. You sat there and said, you know what? This young friend got a script. He wants me. He wants me. He's requesting me. I mean, how flattering is that? He probably could have submitted it out to, hundreds, but he didn't. I have a feeling he probably wrote that with you in mind.
He started writing that in 2016, so I don't think so. But
Well, the
maybe,
polished it.
the character did take more shape as we started to have those conversations, obviously, just because it gets imbued with a person. So that, in that sense, I think it did develop a bit. But no, he was working on that for a long time.
Did you have any misadventures in Detroit while you were out here?
Any misadventures? Not really. One time I love those scooters. I love those scooters.
Oh,
They're
okay.
so fun. So one day I brought my cat with me on the shoot, and I scooted around with him and his little baby Bjorn one day, which was fun. But I didn't get very far. I was like, this is dangerous, and this is my most precious creature, so I'm gonna bring him back. But we had a lot of fun. It was funny every time I would I would come home and I'd be so tired, but poor cat. I probably shouldn't have brought the cat, but we had a great time. And I would come home every night and like have my glass of wine and go out in the hallway and play fetch. My cat plays fetch, so we would play fetch in the hotel hallway for like 35 minutes more, actually, like an hour every night. So I could, just give him some loving. He loves to play. He's such a bandit. So
how old is your kitty?
now he just turned 3. Oh no. Yeah, 3.
They still play fetch?
Almost. Gosh. They grow up so fast.
Does he still play fetch?
Oh yeah. He's the coolest cat ever. He's like mini and plays fetch.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
What do you want to play next? I mean, you say you want to work, but is there anything you particularly want to try sink your teeth into now? I mean, you want to try to, get, let's say like an action movie, something with Jason Statham in it or something like that.
I don't think I would be able to handle myself. I think I would just like fangirl and run away.
Do you fangirl?
Do I fangirl? Yeah, when I met Bryan Cranston, that was a big fangirl moment for me because I love Breaking Bad and I just think he's such a talent. So I fangirled then for sure. Yeah, I was like, "Hi, I'm Eleanor. Bye." Like I gotta go.
I mean, he must have been really charmed by you.
Oh well, I don't know about that. I think he was quite, he was in the middle of doing a lot of stuff. I was just like. But in terms of like dream roles, geez, I don't know. I mean, I think of Kate Winslet in Eternal Sunshine. That's a killer role. I mean, Natalie Portman in Garden State 2, also a killer role. Oh my God, I want to do anything, dude. I want to be like a day player on a TV show. I don't care. I want to work. I'm excited. Right.
No, I totally get it. I just wondering if there's just anything in particular that you want to sink your teeth into. Like you want to try to do do you want to stick to movies? Would you want to do TV? Or
I would love to do film and TV, of course, and I'd love to do stage too. After doing this
You're in the right city for
that. It was a short play. We did not get to rehearse in the space at all. So I had a very different experience to what like theater is. So I'm looking forward to, if that does ever happen, to having the theater experience and being able to,
What was the play that you did that you didn't have time to rehearse?
Oh, we did. We had lots of rehearsals. We just didn't have rehearsals in the space.
Okay.
It was a short play called Rainfall, the band. I play the band manager. And it's, about 10 minutes before the band's supposed to go on and play their biggest gig yet. And it's the stress of those moments leading up.
Oh, like a showcase.
Yeah, essentially, yes. It was kind of like that. Yeah.
Did you guys film it? I'd love to see that.
No, not yet. But that was so originally he wanted to make a short film, but then he decided to turn it into a play to submit it to the theater festival, and then he wrote a full length. So TBD what it's going to turn into. But
wow, yeah, I know that pressure. I've seen that before. Does the band just disintegrate on stage?
No.
Okay.
But that's all I'm saying.
The band I saw, they played a showcase.
Oh! You're saying the band. I totally misunderstood you. No, they're like, so they've been, up and coming. I've been their band manager. I discovered them and I finally got them like their own gig and I sold it out. And it's like 3 times the size of their regular venue. And the lead singer is a bit of a diva and shows up, 5 minutes before curtain, which is not the proper term when it's music. But anyway, and it's, the tension between the bandmates of sort of like, you like to act like the hero, and it's like, relax, man. And they're talking about high school, and I'm just like, guys, please. And it's funny because the guy who wrote it was my very first, and directed it, was my very first acting partner in my summer program. Before I decided to do the 2-year, I did a summer intensive just to, make sure that I liked it. He was my very first acting partner, and I was in Meisner. So it starts with repetition. And the first thing he said to me was, "You look like a band manager." I was like, I look like a band manager. And then 3 years later, I'm playing a band manager in something he wrote. So it was very cute.
I'm just looking down at the chat. We've been talking so much. This happens when I get on a roll here. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here for you.
Okay.
Our good friend Waffles He has
Hi,
the best
Waffles.
name. He has the best name on YouTube. Heroic Waffles.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Is it the best? You'll never forget you'll never forget his channel. So Heroic Waffles says that he is a tattoo fan. He wants to know about your tattoo on your wrist.
Oh, sure. Okay, this is the Bastet. She is an Egyptian goddess. This is the first tattoo I knew I ever wanted. She's like a maternal, but also a warrior goddess, and she encapsulates many different qualities that I thought that resonated with me. I was in the 6th grade and I learned about the Bastet, and I was like, if I ever get a tattoo, I'm gonna get the Bastet. And so I finally did get it I got it on International Women's Day. I got my goddess tattoo on an International Women's Day like 5 years ago or something. So this is that. She's amazing. I love her. I'm really bad at this. There we go.
No, that's beautiful. Now there is something else that I have to mention up because which I absolutely adore. Not only were you a cat person, but you're also a Hello Kitty fan.
Wait, where is it? God, I'm really bad at this. Oh no, this way. I got her bow on me.
Yeah. I love Hello Kitty. I used to get my wife a Hello Kitty calendar every Christmas. It was the first present I bought her every year.
That's amazing. Can I get one?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get your address after the stream. I'll send you a Hello Kitty.
So sweet.
Yeah, we'll do that. You just after you get it, you just gotta put on the calendar. You gotta put stuff on your calendar and send it to me.
Okay.
Like yeah, I'll be glad to do that. No, you know what? Actually,
I was totally teasing. Oh my gosh, my mom got me.
No, actually, Eleanor, I will do that because I'll tell you why off the stream. I'd be honored to do that. And I think once I tell you why, you'll be happy.
Okay.
So yeah, this is awesome. Let me see if there's a couple more questions here because I had not really been paying attention to that.
Sorry, friends.
We've just been talking. It's just like Oh, thank you so much for everybody who's supporting my channel. I appreciate it so much. Yay. Jamie Hart says that she loves your necklace.
Oh, thank you, my friend. My friend is a jewelry designer. Her name is Kate Graff Radford. She makes every piece is a one of a kind. She makes me this bracelet. Oh my gosh, I have so many of her stuff. I should have been decked out, but thanks for saying. Yeah, my friend's a jewelry designer, and honestly, all the jewelry she forgets and then leaves with me, so I get to wear it.
Wow. What we'll do too, I'll get her information from me, and I'll put it in the description box so people can go check her out.
Thanks.
Hi, Michelle. Let's see. I'm gonna see if there's any more questions. I forgot. I don't know. I don't know. People are having trouble commenting, but I got my main man Bones in there taking care of that. Oh yeah, so everybody's saying they're so proud of you. Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, friend.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I couldn't get over the fact how much of a well, I shouldn't say quite like that, but I mean it's one thing I really respected is you are your own person. You're your own artist. No one's giving you anything. You're earning it.
Well, I mean,
you're earning it. I have so much respect for artists like that. It could have been easy. It could have been easy to go the other way, but you didn't. You did 2 years of training. You're out there just like anybody else. You're doing self-taping and you're reading songs. I do want to circle back to time now because there's a scene in there I want to talk about because it's pretty relevant now, and I have been talking about it with the last couple of guests. And there's a scene there in the movie where you're handling a handgun. Walk us through that. What was it like on that set? Do you remember what it was like working with the weapons? I mean,
it was incredibly. That was not an actual gun. That was a prop gun. It wasn't a prop gun. It was not an airsoft gun because that's not what those are. But it wasn't a gun. It was not a real gun. However, there were lots of professionals handling it, and I was shown exactly how to use it, but there's no real chamber for anything to go into or anything like that. So it just looked really real, but no, it was not. And yeah. That was no, I'm not a fan of guns. I'm very afraid of guns. So that was the most I've ever handled a gun type object in my life.
Was that really stressful that day where you had to, do, I don't want to spoil this
No,
movie.
no, I get it. I know what you're asking. That day, so those final like 3 scenes in the car, outside, and then back home, we shot them all in one day. And those were the, biggest scenes of the movie, and had to be outside for that, obviously, outside scene. And I was so cold. I've never been that cold before. And I'm like a big baby with cold. So I do have to understand that I'm from LA. Like I get it. I'm not good with the cold, but that day was freaking cold.
Yeah.
And I'm in this like little dress, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to like hold a gun, and I'm like vibrating, I'm vibrating, man. I was so cold. So it was, and then the scene in the car was really challenging, because it's finally the moment where Jenny gets to have a moment of release, but Jenny's so contained, and there's so many moments prior to that where she might have like a momentary release, and it's just stuff comes out of her sideways. She's so out of adjustment because of how atrophied she is sort of in her trauma, that when she does finally emote, it's weird. It doesn't really make sense. So that scene was definitely difficult in terms of getting clear on how Jenny would handle finally saying these things out loud, And I think in a lot of ways, at least for me, what I was working with was she's still a 17-year-old, if not younger. She's still operating from a place within her that was trained into her very young. And then this initial tragedy happens that's not necessarily a part of the film. You see a flashback, but so I saw her as sort of getting stuck there, getting stuck at 17 when she initially sort of ran away. That's sort of what I was working with there. It was like,
She's the last of the because you were triplets. And
yeah.
Could you imagine being the pressure of that situation? I mean, that just would be, the last of 3, and then then you see it's not surprising. I mean, it was very real, very rooted in realism. The whole character, you really could tell that she was hurting, and she was just so confused. Yeah. So the gun scene was very, actually pulling the trigger and seeing her, seeing that must have been not easy then.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the emotion of that. I mean, now going forward, due to what happened before, are you going to be a lot more aware of things on set now that this tragedy happened, a couple of weeks ago as an actor? When you get your scripts to read over whatnot, are you looking for scenes like that to do or to sort of avoid? Like, I don't really want to be a character that's going to kill somebody.
Wow. Well, I think it's very important to be cognizant of the stories that you're telling. I think Jenny having consequences for her actions was hugely important.
I do too.
Because, we're living in a time where that doesn't necessarily happen for people that look like Jenny. So I think that was an important component. And I don't know that's something that I would say content-wise and story being told-wise, that's definitely always something to be cognizant of, and something that I obviously am still very much, I'm learning about how to be most, be a respectful vessel for telling a story. However, I don't know that I would shy away from a role solely because it involved violence. I think it's important to tell true stories.
Yeah.
And to do truthfully under imaginary circumstances, which is probably the best snippet I ever got from my acting class in terms of what acting is.
How long did it take you to get to take how what did you do to separate yourself from Jenny after the shoot was over?
Well, I think traveling did really help. Having to go somewhere else and relocate. I didn't expect that to sort of have the effect that it did, but it really did help for me to sort of just go like focus. And we shot in 15 days. So I just sort of stayed in it and then got out of it. So it was kind of this like 1-2 switch, not completely. I mean, I was very much not, aside from that one day that we were just talking about where we shot the 3 most difficult scenes back to back. That was sort of the only day I was like, okay, I'm not going to be like myself on set and stuff. I'm just going to stay in this headspace because I have to, that's my job. But I'm very much I can't.
Hard.
I'm like a goof on set, and I revert back to myself. And I know though, I did a small day player role on the new Dead Ringers remake. I'm in an episode of that. Oh, there's a fly in my home. That's fun. And that day was I played a character that was dealing with a lot, and so that day I was still a bit more removed, but I don't know. I just kind of I've gotten a better at trusting my impulse to, fall out and fall out of the character and then get back in when it's time to shoot, or needing to separate myself and go, you know what, I need to go stay where I'm at. And thankfully, and that's something, that's something I'm learning very, early on in the learning process of.
Oh no, I've talked to some people with some big like one of those like 20, 40, 60 roles, and they still have the same thing. They still have the same problem. They still have
to trust yourself. It's so hard. We're not trained to trust ourselves, so you have to, it takes a lot. And that's something I think that this film captures so well is, we're not handed the tools to heal ourselves. You need money and access and time and energy, and it's not just readily available for you to go, oh, you're having a difficult feeling. In fact, we say, oh, you're having a difficult feeling, shut it down. You're supposed to be happy all the time. And so, you're shooting yourself with that second arrow and you're feeling like crap. And then you're like, I'm not allowed to feel bad. It's like, wow, well, that's a recipe for getting stuck there, And so this film, I thought, captures so well the consequences of unhealed, a cycle of unhealed trauma and pain.
Yeah, I mean that's why I just felt like we were touched upon that earlier about how important your writing is, to you both as a, I mean, I heard one actor told me once that after he did a tense role like that, what he did was he'd go sit down and he would write to the character he just got done playing. He'd write him a letter stating about, this is what it was like playing you, and then he wrote the whole damn thing out, and then afterwards he felt a lot better
because he wrote cool.
He wrote like a goodbye letter to the character that he played.
Wow, that's so beautiful. I love that. That's also a great way to get into the head of somebody as well.
Yeah.
Exchange letters between. Wow, that's so cool. See, this is the stuff I need to know more about. People have been doing this forever and they're freaking masters, and I'm like, I want to learn what you know.
Right.
It's fun to be a student, though. It's fun to be in the learning in a learn. I mean, we're always learning, but to really be in the learning phase is fun.
I'm going to open up the chat here for a few minutes. I want to let all these folks have a good chance to ask some. Okay, you guys can ask some questions now. I want to give them a chance to ask some questions. I'm sure if I go back, I'll see like 30 questions. But go ahead and start asking some questions. Hey, Kalel, how are you? Yeah, Jennifer mentioned she's drawn to characters like Jenny. Yep. Let's see. Agreed. Love a film they did together early 90s. That must be about. Yeah, well, let me ask you a question. I don't think I quite asked you this, but what did your parents think of your role, of your movie? Would they give you any feedback, or were they just watching it?
They were so proud because they're awesome and they support me, and it's just so wonderful to be held in that kind of, encouragement.
You know, they probably fanboyed and fangirled out, right?
When they watched it, for sure. You know, they were so proud. My mom was like, "Oh my God, you're doing it!" You know, and she got to come see the play, which was great. I was like, "Please come to all 3 performances, and then let me pick your brain after, because you know things that I don't know. So you
Oh,
see things
okay.
that I don't see." So that was fun. She gave me a lot of, I've got 2
Yeah.
masters.
I was gonna ask that, but I was gonna try to avoid it at the same time. But yeah, I mean, do you ever go to your parents and ask them for feedback, or
Well, after
you
the
just get
play,
away?
definitely.
Okay, yeah.
After the movie, it was too late, obviously, when that was happening. I did call my mom sometimes on the shoot, though, just like, I think more just general sort of like, encourage me.
Sure, sure.
And then technical, after the play, I really did want that feedback from my mom. She was so sweet to actually did come to all 3 of the shows. And so she gave me some helpful advice.
Jamie mentions here. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Kellogg mentions, you think she would make a good Sonya Blade? How do you feel about that role, Miss Lambert?
A good who?
Sonya Blade's character for Mortal Kombat.
I'm going to show my ass here. I've never seen it.
You never saw? Wait, you never saw Mortal Kombat Annihilation, or the first Mortal Kombat? Really?
I hate that I just admitted that on live stream, but I haven't.
Wow, that's actually a fun movie.
Isn't that so lame of me? Everybody, I apologize, but I've got my work cut out for me. Part of the fun, though, I got to be honest, when everyone's like, Raiden, part of the fun is that I don't get it. So I get to kind of just be like, yeah, sick, dude. But I've seen Highlander. I mean, come on.
Oh God, I was gonna say you had to see Highlander.
Yeah.
Everybody in this chat room would just be like, "What?"
No,
We all
I
love
did.
it.
I've done the bare minimum, folks. But that's about
Okay, good. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see. Jamie wants us. She has a question. Says, yeah. She loves you. She's so real and down to earth. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not surprised at that. Like I said, once I went to your website and I read your writing, yeah, I knew you'd be down to earth. Do you have? She wants to know, do you have any aspirations to do more than acting? Do you want to possibly direct in your future?
Wow. Oh my gosh. I mean, geez, Louise. I think the world asks us to make these decisions so young. I started college when I was 17. Like 17, you're still kind of like, don't look at me and don't tell me what to do. And so, it wasn't until I was 24 that I was like, oh, now I know what I like and what I care about. And so
Okay.
I have aspirations totally outside of the industry. But look, I have no doubt that by entering this world, my skill set is going to evolve. My eye and my perspective and my ability to catch things that I wouldn't even know about now, just by being surrounded by talents and masters of their craft. That's the cool thing about a set. It's like you get to mingle so many different professions on one set, so many skill sets on one set. And that's what was so cool about Time Now. I got to literally be present for so many people doing their thing. That's a nice thing about these indies, these sort of more grassroots productions. It's like you get to be there as it's all happening. And so I learned a lot. So I don't know if I don't know how to answer that. My mom always told me I was a little director when I was a kid. I was like, you go there and I'll go here and you're the princess and I'm moving. And, so everyone was a princess or a cat.
What was that?
Maybe a children's movie.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned earlier, you're writing a novel. Can you touch a basis with that on that? I mean, what's your book going to be about?
Well, it's not a novel per se yet. I don't think it will become one. Who knows? We're very early on in the writing process. My good friend Julian wanted to write his sort of life story with a self-help spin, and I am very, obsessed by spiritual growth and the cross section between science and spirituality and psychology and the reason why people do the things that they do, and understanding that on sort of a more empirical data level. But I I don't consider myself an expert by any means, but I follow a lot of experts and I've learned so much learning from these experts. So, you know, it started out as like a potential ghostwriter situation. And then as it continued to evolve, I said, you know what, I would really love to be a part of this process. And he was like, thank goodness, I was hoping you were going to say that. And that made me feel really good. And so we're still so early on, you know, I don't even have a full proper outline yet. We have a bare bones outline that we're filling in. And so we'll see.
It's nice to have something like that, you know, that you can come back and work on. You know, you always have a little project going on, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm look forward to it. I'm sure it'll be, I mean, based on what I've seen of you writing, I'm sure it'll be very strong. Okay, I see some questions. TJ mentions that she sort of reminds him of Alanis Morissette.
Thanks. She's a badass. Love her.
I wouldn't. Let's see. Let's see. Her voice reminds you of Drew Barrymore. Okay.
Hey, I've actually heard that before. That's really nice. Also, I love her voice.
Yep. I see. Yeah. Have you done any press for this other than doing interviews with folks like myself? Have you done any national press yet for Time Now?
No, I did a radio tour, which was really fun.
Okay.
Where I was, you know, popped around the nation.
Right.
That was fun. And I did an interview in Australia because Claudia's Australian, and she had a great interview with a man named Shane, who I spoke with, and he was lovely. So that's some international biz, which is cool.
Wow. Yeah. You know, speaking of that, let me take time out right here to say thank you to Jeff from October for putting this together. I would be terribly remiss if I didn't say thank you very much to him. He worked his ass off for this.
I agree. He's the best. I mean, and he's just.
I really enjoy working with them.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to take a quick look to see if I miss any questions, then I'm going to let you get out of here because it's Friday night, and I'm not going to tie you down. Besides, I'm sure your cats will look at me.
I don't think I haven't seen it either. Oh, I just saw that pop up on the screen. Oh gosh, are people pissed? Sorry, friends.
Huh?
I just saw this Jennifer pop up on the screen here. I didn't realize I could see. Oh God, I'm not even gonna look.
Let's see. All right.
I promise the next time we chat.
Yes, and there will be a next time. Let's see. All right. I guess. Yeah. Okay. I checked the look. I think everybody. I think I'm going to scroll back.
I offended everybody by saying I haven't seen Mortal Kombat yet. Probably should have seen that.
Yeah, but you did see Highlander.
Of course.
You did see Highlander, and that's the big one. Oh, okay. So I do got one other question. This is sort of a fanboy question.
Okay.
Were you ever allowed on the set of The Perfect Storm?
I was but I was like very, very little.
Oh.
I was like,
so I was gonna say, did you ever get a chance to meet Michael Ironside?
I don't think so. If I did, it's banked away in the being able to remember memory.
I would have had a fanboy moment because Michael Ironside, he rocks. All right, boys and girls, we're going to go ahead and let our guest, Eleanor Lambert, go. She's been more than generous with her time, and I want to say thank you so much, Eleanor, for sitting down and talking with us.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
I will go ahead and thank everybody in the chat for coming out and supporting the show.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for my mods, Mr. Bones, Michael's Adventures, Jamie. Thank you for Kevin from Tuber Chat for leading the raid. This has been awesome. Look forward to talking to you again sometime soon.
I hope so too. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
All right, boys and girls, we'll see you next Tuesday with Polly Shannon. Until the next one, peace. Stay right where you're at, Eleanor, if you don't mind.